secretly cut off my own photo with a knife. Then I took advantage of the staff to go to the sealed room. I quickly took out the passport in the drawer. I stuck the photo carefully. However, if there was no seal, the passport was invalid. I could only try to agree to the document. But even if I used the body count, there were no traces left on it. Fortunately, I went straight into the office of the chief. Then I opened the other party's safe with a pen. Then I took out the seal inside. Everything was ready to work. As a soldier, my name is Ethan Cross, but I wanted to go to the north because being a soldier in the south was not only difficult, but also always facing the risk of being shot. But when I ran out full of confidence, I suddenly stopped because I felt the smell of danger. Two young soldiers were staring at me. Obviously, they took me as a fugitive. However, in front of their eyes, I was not at all flustered. I walked forward with a big waist. I ain't do it. Can't go to the police station. Can't go to the police station. The political trend was really good. They didn't continue to ask. Instead, I came to the telescope. I found that there were towers all around and all the armed patrol members. It was too hard to run away under the light of day. The only exit was the gate of the battalion. At this time, the regiment was holding a meeting. All the drunk officers on the road, I've searched everywhere. Finally, I found a car with a key and the car door was not locked. Then I picked up a fallen officer from the meeting. I took him into the car. I deliberately lowered his hat to avoid being recognized. Next, as long as I passed this gate successfully, as the gate became closer and closer, my heart was gradually pulled to my throat. The defeat was here. Suddenly, a fat hand hit my shoulder. The gate was close. I was about to run away again, but the result was unexpected. The guards were preparing to stop the car. When they saw the general sitting in the car, they immediately let go. I just ran out of headquarters dangerously. When the general woke up from the drunkenness, he found himself lying in a farmland. At the same time, I was driving the car. I was going to return to the army. First, I tried to rescue my friend Michael Hale. However, the accident was always like a shadow. The car actually ran out of gasoline, stopped in the middle of the road. The worst thing was that a few military cars happened to pass by. My situation caught their attention, so they turned toward me. I calmed down and walked toward them. I took some gas from them and showed a fake passport. Although the passport was not the same, it still aroused suspicion. They asked why I didn't check the gas before the trip and why I was traveling alone. He said he would take out his cell phone and prepare to verify my identity. He was about to show up. I hurried to say that I was a guard. This time, I was ordered to execute a secret mission. But the officer was not so easy to fool. He wanted to take me away first, then verify my identity with the superior. I said I had to hurry to Blackwind prison. The prisoner on the street was Michael Hale. No one could take responsibility for the delay in the mission. Unexpectedly, the officer was shocked. It turned out that he was the person in charge of Blackwind. Knowing that Michael Hale was locked in Blackwind, and I knew this secret, it seemed that I was indeed executing a secret mission. Then I followed the car team to Blackwind prison. After signing the street book, I was seen because of the fear of fear. But when I was about to say goodbye to the officer, the deputy officer suddenly changed the situation. The middle-class comrade told him to follow the order. The driver was a police officer. It was suspicious that he didn't even know the car was open during the mission. The atmosphere at the scene suddenly calmed down. I felt the force of death again. I was even ready to fight back with a gun. However, the military officer's reaction made everyone's eyes drop. Do you suspect the police? You can come out and collude with me today. Later, he apologized to me for the offense of the deputy officer. The deputy officer, who was beaten up, turned around and didn't dare to speak, but he accidentally saw me at the crossroad. He mistook me for the fugitive. Now, he was more certain that I was in trouble, but the slap on his face made him remember. He didn't rush to report to the officer. He was more active in asking me to leave. I wanted to leave as soon as possible. I thought I should get down and act quickly. The deputy officer kept calling on the road to verify my identity. Finally, he found the limit. I know you're a police officer, but I'm not sure who you are. You can just check who the real officer is. The lie was about to be exposed. I was looking at the driver with a gun. I was ready to fight back with a gun, but I was robbed by the deputy officer. The two of us were still fighting in the small carriage. Suddenly, a bullet was fired. The bullet hit the driver's head. It turned out that the Defense Department's chief had found the rebels took the team to a wreck. The car was out of control because of the driver's wound. It rushed into the team and flew out. Michael and I were fine, but the next second, the bullets poured down like rain. Death and survival. I smeared the blood on the ground on my face. Then I faced the pursuers, lying on the ground, pretending to be shot. The chief of staff immediately ordered to stop shooting. Then they took the team forward to check. I saw them successfully hit the target. Immediately, I got up and called on Michael to take his life. The pursuers followed and shot. Countless bullets fired from behind. We ran hard through the wild grass. But if it went on like this, even if we didn't get hit by a bullet, we'd die right away. We were doomed. Suddenly, there was a flash of life in front of us. The two of us who escaped from death leaned on each other. The indefinite escape made us desperate. So we gave each other hope, describing the life of freedom in the South. In a word, our bodies seemed to be full of energy again. Soon we rushed toward the military camp, but the rain stopped as expected. We hastened our steps. Unexpectedly, Michael, because of excessive fatigue, stumbled and rolled into the camp. The worst thing was that when he got up and looked ahead, he saw a group of soldiers. The government was looking at us alone. At this moment, Michael seemed to see his own face, but I didn't expect out of nowhere. I grabbed a top helmet and brought it directly to Michael's head. We were both confused, but the crisis didn't end. At this time, the director took his men to the camp. He announced to all the officers the news of our escape. In order not to take any risks, Michael and I came to the military kitchen quietly. We wanted to use the kitchen's ventilation pipe to escape. It wasn't strong enough because of my physical state. There was a huge noise. The captain outside the kitchen ordered the door to be smashed open. The door was about to be broken. Picked up an iron bucket, poured all the gas on the door, then pulled out a firewood and lit it. The sudden explosion of gas shook all the soldiers outside. We took the opportunity to escape into the ventilation pipe. Then we used the underground passage to cross the high-pressure electric fence. But when I turned around, I found Michael still looking for something in the electricity network. The worst thing was that the searchlights on the building started searching everywhere. I hurried back to the ground to take Michael away, but when I came out again, I saw the searchlight already on him. I immediately fired 2 shots at the head of the tower. While the other side hid from the bullets, I pulled Michael up and escaped. After a while, we came out of the ground. Suddenly, Michael caught me and said he was dying. He begged me to give his necklace to his mother. I encouraged him not to give up eyes, but this time, the light was on again. Michael was shot. Suddenly, a scene struck me like thunder. I had promised Michael myself I would take him away from the north to the south, but I didn't expect him to be so far away from south. I kneeled on the ground, staring at Michael's gradually frozen body. The chief, who was ordered to the building, had his gun aimed at me. I picked up Michael's necklace, put it in my pocket. Then I raised my head, my eyes sharp as a knife. Staring at the chief who had grown up with me, suddenly, I lifted my gun and broke the searchlights on the building. I took the opportunity to get up and leave. According to the instructions of the real guide, I ran to the south, but I didn't expect more lights to come on, searching for my trace everywhere. With their help, the chief aimed at me again. But when he was preparing to shoot, I suddenly stopped, lifted my gun, and destroyed all the lights. The chief lost his target again, but he found my location according to the gunfire aimed at him at the same time. He didn't think I had no bullets left. He shot immediately. The gunshot sounded and I fell to the ground. The chief determined I was bound to die. He didn't know I was safe in the grass. The bullet he fired happened to hit the bullet needle of my gun. Although I escaped a blow, I faced a bigger crisis. The bullet needle was broken. I was all alone. I couldn't tell which side was south. With the chief on the building, it was impossible to get up and confirm the direction. Just as I was at the end, my receiver made a loud noise. I suddenly had an idea. I pulled out the antenna, searching for radio signals carefully. When the receiver heard a clear voice, I knew the direction was south. I immediately ran toward the south at night. As expected, I soon reached the minefield on the border. But unfortunately, because of the heavy rain, the mines were shifted. The map in my hand was useless. But the dream of the south was right in front of me. I was unwilling to give up. I confirmed my belief in my heart. I ran toward the south. The chief brought his men to the minefield. With his first shot, the men picked up machine guns and fired at me. Crisis at my feet, bullets raining behind. But none of this could stop me. The chief saw a close shot. It was almost impossible. He stepped into the minefield to chase after me, but he hadn't gone 10 meters before the explosion. On the other side, I kept running to the south. As the sun rose, I had reached the limit of my body, but I didn't dare to stop. I ran into a pond, tried my best to get over it, but I didn't expect thick mud under the water. The more I struggled, the deeper I sank. In the end, my whole body disappeared into the water. The surroundings were instantly engulfed in death, but the miracle happened again. My mud-covered hand suddenly came out of the water, grabbing the edge of the cliff. You have forget to share and subscribe.